In the far corners of the Orion Arm, humans were seen as newcomers to the galactic stage. The older alien species recognized human creativity, but didn't take them seriously. The consortium of allied species only let Earth watch their meetings, claiming humans weren't advanced enough to participate fully. Admiral Hyun looked out at Earth from her office on the moon. Her tired face showed years of frustration dealing with alien politics. She held a message in her hand. Another rejection from the consortium about Earth joining as a full member. Your species needs to master basic gravitational engineering before we can consider your application, the Palaxian representative had written. The words stung with their dismissive tone. They think we're children playing with toys, Hyun said quietly, her voice barely audible in a quiet room. Dr. Ta stood next to her. As Earth's best physicist, he understood the technical challenges better than anyone. Then let's show them what these children can build, he replied with a hint of determination. That conversation sparked Project Cronus, the most ambitious engineering project in human history. While the aliens thought humans were still figuring out basic space travel, Earth's scientists had secretly solved a problem that alien experts had struggled with for thousands of years: quantum displacement, the ability to move massive objects instantly across space. Within weeks, the project took shape. Hidden bases were built in remote areas across the solar system. The best engineers and scientists from every nation were quietly recruited. Dr. Ta led the theoretical team, while Admiral Hyun secured funding and resources through channels the consortium couldn't monitor. They worked in remote asteroid facilities, converting the giant rocks into research labs. On Mars, they built manufacturing centers disguised as colony expansions. The aliens noticed the increased activity but assumed it was standard human development. 6 months into the project, the team achieved their first breakthrough. In a test chamber beneath the lunar surface, they successfully moved a 10-ton object across the room using zero energy, something the alien textbooks claimed was impossible. How did you approach this? Hyun asked after witnessing the test. Dr. Ta smiled. We stopped trying to solve it their way. Alien physics has been built on the same foundations for millennia. We looked at the problem with fresh eyes. The team discovered that by combining quantum entanglement with Earth's unique approach to gravitational theory, they could create displacement fields that required minimal energy. The alien races had missed this because their scientific traditions were too rigid, too set in established thinking. As the project expanded, more resources were diverted from Earth's economy. People noticed the changes: new jobs in space construction, increased mining operations in the asteroid belt, and strange energy signatures near Jupiter. But the public was told these were standard expansion efforts. Dr. Ta's team refined their technology while working inside hollow asteroids. They learned to scale up the displacement effect to handle larger and larger masses. By the end of the first year, they could move objects the size of small buildings. Admiral Hyun kept the consortium distracted with diplomatic requests and trade negotiations. Each time Earth's representatives attended observer meetings, they asked basic questions about space technology, maintaining the illusion that humans were still technological novices. The Palaxian ambassador once remarked to a colleague, "The humans are persistent, if nothing else. They keep asking about technology we mastered 5,000 years ago." Little did he know that inside Jupiter's orbit, humanity was building something that would change the balance of power forever. They had hollowed out a dwarf planet and were fitting it with the most advanced engines ever created. 3 years into the project, Earth faced a resource crisis. The massive amounts of rare materials needed for Project Cronus had depleted Earth's reserves. Dr. Ta proposed a daring solution: use their prototype systems to quietly mine resources from other star systems without the consortium noticing. Small, unmanned ships with displacement technology began appearing in uninhabited systems, gathering materials and returning to Earth within hours instead of the years such journeys would normally take. By the 4th year, the first planet ship was nearly complete. Hidden in Jupiter's shadow, the massive vessel, almost 1,000 kilometers across, contained enough power to move itself anywhere in the galaxy instantly. Its outer shell was reinforced with materials that could withstand the heat of a star. Its core housed quantum computers more advanced than anything the consortium had ever seen. When they finished, humanity would reveal what they had accomplished, and nothing in the galaxy would ever be the same. 5 years of secret work had finally paid off. The CSV Leviathan was ready for its first official test. It wasn't anything like traditional spaceships. Instead, humans had taken a small planet, hollowed it out, and installed their new quantum engines inside. The ship measured 950 kilometers across, larger than many moons. Admiral Hyun stood on the command deck, surrounded by the best officers Earth had trained. The inside of the Leviathan looked more like a small city than a ship. Thousands of crew members worked at different stations. Some controlled the engines, others managed life support, and many monitored the special gravity fields that protected the ship. "All systems are ready," said Captain Minho, the ship's commander. His voice was steady, but Hyun could see the excitement in his eyes. "Begin final preparations," Hyun ordered. "Our guest will arrive soon." The consortium had heard rumors about the human project. Most alien leaders dismissed these stories as impossible, but the military leaders were more cautious. They had sent Talon Ka, their military attaché, to observe what the humans were doing. Talon Ka's shuttle docked with the Leviathan just as the final checks were completed. The alien had 4 arms and skin that changed color with his mood. Currently, he showed a deep blue of skepticism as he was escorted to the command center. "Welcome aboard the CSV Leviathan," Admiral Hyun greeted him. Talon Ka's eyes widened as he took in the massive command center. "This is larger than I expected, but I remain unconvinced of its capabilities." Dr. Ta joined them, carrying a data tablet. "We've prepared a simple demonstration. The Leviathan will jump to the edge of our solar system and back." "Jump." Talon Ka's skin shifted to purple confusion. "You mean travel at your primitive faster-than-light speeds? That would still take hours." "No," Hyun said. "We mean instantaneous displacement. We'll move the entire ship from here to there in less than a second." Talon Ka's laugh echoed through the command center. "That's not possible. The energy requirements alone would be impossible using conventional methods." Dr. Ta finished for him. "We don't use conventional methods." Hyun nodded to Captain Minho. "Proceed with the demonstration." The captain turned to his crew. "All personnel, prepare for displacement. Secure all stations." Lights dimmed across the ship as power flowed into the quantum displacement engines. The floor hummed softly beneath their feet. "It makes no logical sense," Talon Ka said, his skin now a pale yellow of concern. "Your species barely mastered fusion reactors." "This is impossible." Admiral Hyun smiled. "We've been told that humans have an unusual relationship with impossible." "Displacement in 3, 2, 1, announced Captain Minho. There was no dramatic flash, no feeling of movement. One moment they were near Jupiter, and the next, the view screens showed the darkness at the edge of the solar system, with distant stars looking sharper without the sun's glare. Talon Ka stumbled backward, his skin flashing bright white with shock. "How? You can't. This violates all known physics." "Return jump in 10 seconds, Captain Minho reported calmly. 10 seconds later, they were back in Jupiter's orbit, exactly where they started. The entire journey had taken less than 20 seconds. Talon Ka stood frozen, his 4 hands gripping the nearby railing. "What have you done?" "We solved the quantum displacement problem," Dr. Todd explained. "Your people thought it was impossible because you approached it from a conventional angle. We looked at it differently." The alien military attaché struggled to regain his composure. "The consortium must be informed immediately." "That's why you're here," Admiral Han said. "Tell them exactly what you saw, and tell them that the Leviathan is just our first ship. We have 3 more under construction." This wasn't entirely true. The other ships were already finished and hidden in different parts of the solar system. But Hyun wanted the consortium to think they had more time than they actually did. Within hours, Talanka's report reached the highest levels of the consortium. Emergency meetings were called. Military alerts were issued. The balance of power had suddenly shifted. Back on the Leviathan, Dr. Tai and Admiral Hyun watched Jupiter's swirling clouds from the observation deck. "They'll come for us, you know," Dr. Ta said quietly. "They won't allow us to keep this technology." Hyun nodded. "Yes, they'll come, but they won't be ready for what they find." That night, the Leviathan made another jump, this time to a star system 50 light-years away. It would be the first of many voyages as humanity prepared to take its new place in the galactic order. The great meeting hall of the consortium buzzed with panic. Representatives from 37 alien species gathered in an emergency session. The massive room with its high ceilings and ancient stone columns had never felt so tense. High Elder One sat at the head of the diamond-shaped table. His six-fingered hands tapped nervously as he called the meeting to order. "We face an unexpected situation," he announced. "The humans have developed technology that should be impossible for their level of advancement." The holographic displays activated, showing footage of the Leviathan's test. The room fell silent as they watched the planet-sized ship vanish and reappear across vast distances. "This cannot be real," said Delegate Yu, her tentacles waving in agitation. "It must be some kind of trick or illusion." "I assure you, it is very real," replied Talanka. His skin had remained a worried shade of orange since returning from Earth. "I witnessed it with my own eyes. They have mastered quantum displacement on a scale we thought impossible." The Palaxian representative rose from his seat. Just months ago, he had personally denied Earth's application to the consortium. "This violates all known engineering principles," he insisted, his six eyes blinking rapidly. "We've calculated that such constructions would require energy outputs beyond what's physically possible." "And yet," replied Ambassador Jin, who had just been allowed into the meeting, "there they are." Jin stood calmly at the entrance to the chamber. Unlike previous human representatives who dressed to impress the aliens, she wore a simple blue uniform with minimal decorations. Her presence was unexpected. Humans were rarely allowed in emergency sessions. "How did you enter this chamber?" High Elder One demanded. "I was invited," Jin said simply, "by 7 of your member species who have already reached out to form alliances with Earth." This news sent another wave of shock through the assembly. Elder One looked around the table, trying to identify which members had broken protocol. "What exactly does Earth want?" asked Delegate Yu. "The same thing we've always wanted," Jin replied. "Equal standing among the stars, recognition of our sovereignty, fair trade agreements, and an end to the paternalistic treatment we've received." The Palaxian representative snorted. "You build one impressive ship and think you deserve special treatment." "One," Jin smiled. "The Leviathan is just our first. We have completed 3 more, and 6 others are under construction. Within 1 standard year, Earth will have a fleet of 10 planet ships." The chamber erupted in shouting and arguments. Some representatives demanded immediate military action to seize the human technology. Others called for sanctions and blockades. A few suggested accepting humans as equals before things escalated further. What none of them understood was that humans hadn't broken physical laws. They had simply approached them differently. While alien civilizations had spent thousands of years refining the same technologies, humans had taken a different path. They combined ideas in ways the older species never considered. As the debate raged, 7 major powers formed a coalition. They would mobilize their fleets toward human space immediately. Others announced trade blockades against Earth. Some smaller species, seeing which way the wind was blowing, began quiet negotiations with Ambassador Jin. "You are making a mistake," Jin told the assembly before leaving. "We don't want conflict. We just want respect." But her words fell on deaf ears. The coalition powers were already sending orders to their military commanders. They would surround Earth with overwhelming force, over 2,000 warships from 7 different species. Back on Earth, Admiral Hyun received the reports of the consortium's response. "They're reacting exactly as we predicted," she told her officers. "They see our technology as a threat rather than an opportunity." Dr. Tai looked troubled. "We didn't build these ships for war." "No," Hyun agreed. "But we built them strong enough to prevent one. The coalition thinks they can intimidate us with their numbers. They don't understand what they're facing." She sent orders to deploy the CSV Dreadnought, the newest and most advanced of their planet ships, to Proxima Centauri. The coalition fleet would arrive there in 3 days, expecting to find a human outpost protected by conventional defenses. Instead, they would encounter something that would change galactic history forever. The Dreadnought wasn't just bigger than their ships. It operated on principles the coalition had never imagined. As the human crews prepared for the coming confrontation, a strange calm settled over them. They weren't seeking conflict, but they were ready to defend themselves. And in doing so, they would show the galaxy that humanity could no longer be dismissed as an afterthought. The coalition fleet arrived at Proxima Centauri with overwhelming force. 2,000 warships from 7 different alien species moved into formation around the human colony. Their vessels ranged from sleek, dart-like cruisers to massive battleships covered in weapon ports. Each represented the pinnacle of alien engineering, built by civilizations with thousands of years of spacefaring experience. Admiral Kwan of the Palaxian Guard led the coalition forces. His flagship, the Eternal Vigilance, stretched over 5 kilometers from bow to stern. Its hull was made of materials forged in the hearts of dying stars. Status report on the human defenses, Kwan ordered as his ship took position. "One vessel detected, Admiral." His sensor officer replied, sounding confused. "Just one." Kwan frowned. "Display it." The main screen activated, showing their opponent. The CSV Dreadnought hung in space like a small moon. Unlike the Leviathan, this planet ship had been built specifically for defense. Its surface bristled with weapon systems and shield generators. It measured nearly 1,200 kilometers across, large enough to cast a shadow on the planets below. "They send one ship against our fleet." Kwan laughed, but there was uneasiness in his voice. "Open a channel. Let's give them a chance to surrender before this becomes unpleasant." On the bridge of the Dreadnought, Captain Sun received the transmission. A young woman with calm eyes and steady hands, she had been chosen to command humanity's most powerful vessel. "This is Admiral Kwan of the Coalition Forces. You are outnumbered and outgunned. Power down your systems and prepare to be boarded. Your technology will be seized for the good of all species." Captain Sun glanced at her crew before responding. "This is Captain Sun of the CSV Dreadnought. We have no hostile intentions toward your fleet, Admiral. We are here to protect our colony. I suggest you withdraw your forces." Kwan's multiple eyes blinked in surprise at her calm refusal. "Very well. You leave us no choice." The coalition fleet opened fire. Thousands of energy beams, missiles, and projectiles streaked toward the Dreadnought. The combined firepower could have destroyed a small moon. But something strange happened. As the weapons approached the human vessel, they began to change course. Energy beams curved away from their target. Missiles turned in wide arcs. Projectiles slowed and stopped in space. "What's happening?" Kwan demanded. "They're using some kind of advanced gravitational field," his science officer explained. "It's bending space around their ship. Our weapons can't reach them." Kwan ordered a second volley with increased power. The result was the same. Nothing could touch the Dreadnought. Then the human ship responded. It didn't fire destructive weapons. Instead, it projected dozens of focused gravity fields. These invisible forces wrapped around coalition ships like giant hands, holding them in place. "We've lost engine power," reported ships across the coalition fleet. "We can't move." Within 20 minutes, without firing a single conventional weapon, the Dreadnought had immobilized half the coalition fleet. The ships floated helplessly, unable to maneuver or escape. Admiral Kwan watched in horror as his mighty armada was rendered useless. "How is this possible?" Their technology is only decades old. On the Dreadnought, Captain Sun opened a channel to all Coalition vessels. This demonstration is over. As you can see, we could disable your entire fleet if we wished. But that is not our goal. She paused, letting her words sink in. We will release your ships one by one. You may return to your territories and report what you've witnessed. Earth doesn't seek conflict. We seek recognition. Admiral Kwan broke protocol to establish direct communications with the human captain. How? He asked simply. Your species was mining copper just 9,000 years ago. Captain Su's response was transmitted across all Coalition channels. We had no choice but to think differently. You gave us access to your technology, but kept us powerless in your political structure. So we learned, adapted, and improved what you thought was perfect. As promised, the Dreadnought began releasing Coalition ships. One by one, they regained control of their systems. None attempted to attack again. The battle, if it could even be called that, had ended without a single casualty on either side. When his flagship was released, Admiral Kwan made a decision that would change his career. Instead of retreating with his fleet, he requested permission to board the Dreadnought, not as a conqueror, but as a student. We have much to learn from each other, he told Captain Sun when they finally met face to face. And I believe it's time the consortium learns some humility. 1 year after the Battle of Proxima Centauri, the galaxy had changed. The old consortium of allied species no longer existed. In its place stood the new Council of Civilizations, where Earth held an equal seat at the table. The grand meeting hall on New Earth buzzed with activity. Representatives from 86 different species filled the circular chamber. Some floated in special tanks. Others needed breathing equipment. Many looked almost human. Despite their differences, they all came together with a new sense of respect and cooperation. Admiral Hyun, now High Counselor Hyun, stood at the central podium. Her uniform was simple but elegant, with only a small pin showing Earth's new status. Around her neck hung a translator that converted her words into 86 languages simultaneously. 1 year ago, we faced each other as enemies, she began. Today, we meet as partners. The planet ships that once frightened you have become tools for all of us to use together. She was right. The 12 planet ships that Earth had built now served many purposes. The Dreadnought had become a mobile defense platform that protected trade routes from pirates. The Leviathan explored distant star systems, carrying scientists from 30 different species. Other ships helped planets hit by natural disasters, or served as neutral meeting grounds for species with ancient conflicts. We never wanted dominance, Hyun continued. We only wanted respect. The ships we built weren't meant to conquer, but to ensure our survival in a universe where we were treated as an afterthought. In the front row, Admiral Kwan nodded in agreement. After the battle, he had become Earth's strongest ally in restructuring galactic politics. His honesty about what he witnessed had convinced many skeptical species to accept humanity's new role. The Palaxian Supreme Elder rose from his seat. His ceremonial robes sparkled under the lights. His 6 eyes blinked in a pattern that showed deep respect. On behalf of the elder races, I acknowledge our failure, he said. We mistook youth for weakness. We saw different approaches as inferior thinking. The greatest lesson we have learned is that true wisdom means recognizing that new ideas can come from unexpected places. As he spoke, a message arrived from the CSV Explorer, the newest planet ship. It was currently traveling near the edge of the Andromeda Galaxy, farther than any known species had ventured. The data it sent contained amazing discoveries, strange new phenomena, evidence of ancient civilizations, and star systems with conditions unlike any previously recorded. Dr. Tai presented these findings to the Council. These discoveries will change how we understand the universe, he explained, and we want all species to share in this knowledge. This announcement led to the Council's most important decision, the creation of the Joint Exploration Initiative. Under this program, crews from all member species would serve on the planet ships. Technology would be shared. Discoveries would benefit everyone. Not all species joined immediately. Some remained suspicious of humans' rapid rise. Others worried about losing their traditional advantages. But most recognized that cooperation offered more benefits than competition. After the formal meeting ended, Hyun met privately with Dr. Tai and Captain Sun. "Did you ever imagine this outcome when we started Project Cronus?" Hyun asked them. Captain Sun smiled. "I expected to spend my life fighting defensive battles. Instead, I'm training crew members from 30 different worlds." Dr. Tai looked thoughtful. "The greatest achievement wasn't building the ships. It was changing how the galaxy works together." Their conversation was interrupted by a young Palaxian scientist who had been working on the Explorer. "Counselor Hyun, we've detected signals from beyond Andromeda, possibly from another galaxy entirely." The news spread quickly through the council chambers. If confirmed, it would be the first evidence of intelligent life from beyond their own galaxy. As excitement grew among the representatives, a saying began to circulate. It started among human diplomats but was soon repeated by many species. "Necessity is the mother of invention. Disrespect is the father of revolution." The planet ships that had once terrified the oldest civilizations now carried their hopes into the unknown. What had begun as weapons had transformed into bridges between worlds. And humanity, once dismissed as primitive newcomers, had become essential partners in the greatest age of discovery the galaxy had ever known. That evening, as ships from dozens of worlds orbited peacefully around New Earth, Hyun watched the stars from her office window. The path ahead would not be easy. Old prejudices would not disappear overnight. New challenges would arise. But for the first time in galactic history, all spacefaring species faced the future together, not as competitors, but as allies exploring a universe that still held countless mysteries.